He stood quietly on the packed city bus, holding a grocery bag in one hand and his worn briefcase in the other. His name was Darnell Lewis, a 42-year-old maintenance worker, father of two, and a man everyone in his neighborhood knew as Mr. Darnell. He didn't speak much, but when he did, it was always with kindness. That day, he was simply trying to get home after a double shift at the hospital. The bus jolted to a stop at the next intersection, and in stepped an elderly white woman with a cane, struggling to find her balance as the driver waited impatiently. The bus was full, no seats in sight. A few people glanced her way, then looked back at their phones. Without hesitation, Darnell stood up. "Ma'am, please take my seat," he said, his voice gentle but firm. She blinked in surprise. "Oh, no, no. You've been working, I can tell." "It's all right," he smiled. "I've got strong legs." She slowly lowered herself into the seat, clutching the metal pole for balance. "Thank you," she whispered. Darnell nodded and returned to standing, gripping the overhead rail as the bus lurched forward again. What Darnell didn't realize was that someone had recorded the entire moment on their phone. A teenager near the back, touched by the quiet respect Darnell showed, uploaded the video with the caption, "Real kindness still exists. Respect." It went viral within hours. But the real story, the part that no one captured on camera, happened after the bus ride. Darnell got off 2 stops later, rubbing his back, aching from the long day and now the added stiffness from standing. When he reached his apartment, the power had been shut off. Again, his paycheck, already thin, had been delayed due to a clerical error. His 2 kids, Jada and Marcus, sat in the living room bundled in coats and blankets, trying to do homework by flashlight. "Daddy, the stove won't work," Jada said softly. "I know, baby," Darnell sighed. "I'll fix it." He always said that, "I'll fix it," even when he had no idea how. The next morning, he woke up to dozens of missed calls and messages. He thought it was a scam. But when he got to work, his boss waved him over, grinning from ear to ear. "Darnell," he said, "you've got the whole internet talking." Darnell frowned. "Me, why?" His boss pulled out his phone and showed him the video. Over 10 million views. Thousands of comments. Messages of thanks, praise. Even news stations trying to get his story. He blinked in disbelief. "But I just gave up my seat." "Exactly," his boss said. "You gave it up when no one else would. That means something." Later that week, a letter arrived at his door. Hand-delivered. Inside was a handwritten note on elegant stationery. "Dear Mr. Lewis, my name is Evelyn Hayes. I'm the woman you helped on the bus. What you did meant more to me than you'll ever know. It reminded me of a time when a black man gave up his seat for me in the 1960s and was harassed for it. That act of kindness stuck with me my whole life. And so did the guilt. I've spent years working quietly behind the scenes to support causes that bring people together instead of dividing them. That's why I want to help you now. Please accept this as a small token of my gratitude." Inside the envelope was a check for $100,000. Darnell dropped to his knees. That money paid off his debts, turned the heat back on, and allowed him to finally pursue a business idea he'd long buried under bills and responsibility. A small cleaning service that hired single fathers, returning citizens, and youth in need of a second chance. Within a year, Darnell's business was thriving. But that wasn't the end. He used part of his earnings to start a nonprofit called the Extra Seat Project, a movement encouraging everyday kindness in public spaces. His slogan, "Kindness isn't weakness, it's power." He spoke at schools, churches, community centers. People listened, not because he was famous, but because he was real. He knew struggle, and he knew the strength it took to stay kind in a world that often wasn't. The challenges: poverty, exhaustion, discrimination, the constant fight to raise good kids in a system stacked against him. The resolution: a single moment of grace, a seat on a bus, unleashing a chain reaction of good that changed countless lives. The message: you never know who's watching. You never know how far a simple act of kindness will go. And sometimes, the most powerful thing you can do is stand up.